Her friend called me the best, but her secret smirk told me she was hiding something. I've been standing at the bar, trying to ignore the heat creeping up my neck as I stirred my drink, listening to the conversation around me, when Rachel leaned in and dropped that bomb. "Honestly, you're the best thing that's happened to her in forever," she said, her voice a little too bright. It was meant to be a compliment, I knew that, but something about it didn't sit right. I glanced at my girlfriend, Jenna, who was sitting next to Rachel, and caught her, briefly, shooting me a look, just a flicker of something that I couldn't quite place. The corners of her mouth curled up in a half smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. It was as if she knew something I didn't, like she was in on a joke that I wasn't allowed to hear. I should have brushed it off, I should have laughed it off, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt this cold twist of unease tighten in my chest. I kept looking at Jenna, but she wasn't meeting my gaze. Instead, she was nodding along with Rachel, playing the part of the perfect girlfriend, laughing at the right times, adding a comment here and there, but it felt hollow. Maybe I was overthinking it. Maybe I was being paranoid. But that look, the way she pulled back slightly when I glanced at her, something was off. The night was supposed to be fun. We were celebrating Rachel's birthday. Just a small get-together at a bar downtown with a few of her closest friends. But by the time Rachel called me the best, I already had a bad feeling. It was the third time in a month I'd noticed Jenna acting a little distant, distracted off, like she wasn't fully present when we were together. Like she was thinking about something or someone else. I chalked it up to stress. Work was crazy for both of us, and she'd been dealing with some family stuff. But tonight, with that strange smirk on her face and Rachel's words hanging in the air, it felt like a mask was slipping, and I wasn't sure I liked what was underneath. I took a deep breath, trying to ground myself. "You okay?" I asked, turning to Jenna, trying to sound casual, but my voice came out a little too sharp. She startled, blinking at me as if she hadn't heard me. She quickly straightened up, giving me a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I be?" She looked away for a second, but I saw it, the quick flash of something in her expression, something I couldn't name. Then she took a sip of her drink and returned her attention to Rachel. I forced myself to relax. Don't overthink it. Just enjoy the night. It's nothing. But as the night dragged on, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was shifting between us. Jenna and Rachel exchanged knowing glances, and every time I caught it, I felt this knot twist tighter in my stomach. It was like I was watching a play where I didn't know the script, and everyone else knew the ending except me. When the night ended, and we were walking to the car, Jenna's hand brushed mine for a second before she pulled away, like she wasn't quite sure if she wanted to hold my hand or not. That small gesture, the sudden distance, felt like the tip of an iceberg I wasn't ready to face. We didn't talk much on the drive home, both of us stuck in our own thoughts. I tried to ignore the sinking feeling in my gut, but it only grew heavier the more I thought about it. When we got to her apartment, I stood at the door for a moment, waiting for her to unlock it. "Are you sure you're okay?" I asked again, this time softer, trying to make it sound less like an interrogation. She turned, her face softening, but there was still something behind her eyes that I couldn't read. "Yeah, just tired. Work's been crazy, and I had a lot to catch up on with Rachel." "Yeah, I get that." I nodded, but the words felt hollow coming out of my mouth. I didn't feel like she was telling me everything. I didn't know what it was, but I knew she was holding something back. I kissed her forehead, trying to give her some space, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was standing on the edge of something I wasn't ready for. I was supposed to trust her. We had been together for almost 2 years now, and before tonight, everything had felt solid, like we were building something real. But tonight, with that strange smirk on her face in the distance I couldn't ignore, I felt like we were teetering on the edge of a cliff, and I had no idea how deep the fall would be. I went to bed that night with my mind spinning. The room was quiet, the only sound the soft hum of the air conditioner. But it felt so heavy, like the weight of what was unsaid was pressing down on me, and I couldn't get comfortable. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to trust her. But the seed of doubt that had been planted in my mind tonight was already starting to sprout, and I couldn't stop it from growing. I didn't sleep much. Part 2. The next morning, things fell off. I woke up before Jenna. the sunlight creeping through the blinds just enough to make me aware of how little sleep I'd gotten. I stared at the ceiling for what felt like hours, my mind running over every detail from the night before. Her laugh, the way she'd avoided eye contact when I asked if she was okay, the way Rachel had called me the best with that strange inflection, like it was meant to mean something more than it said. And that damn smirk. What was she hiding? I tried to push the thoughts aside as I slipped out of bed and went to the kitchen to make coffee. I could hear Jenna stirring in the bedroom, but I didn't go to check on her right away. Instead, I busied myself, maybe hoping that if I kept moving, I could outrun whatever feeling had settled in my chest. But it wasn't working. Nothing ever works when you're already thinking the worst, does it? When Jenna came into the kitchen a few minutes later, she didn't say anything right away. She just poured herself a cup of coffee, her movements slow, a little too deliberate. She looked tired, her eyes still red from sleep. The distance between us felt huge this morning, like I was talking to someone I didn't know. "Morning," she said, her voice soft but tight. "Morning," I replied, forcing a smile. I wasn't even sure what I was supposed to say. How do you ask someone if they're cheating on you without sounding completely crazy? I took a deep breath. Focus on the facts. Don't overthink it. But I couldn't help it. The doubts, the questions. They were all swirling in my head, making my thoughts a jumbled mess. "Jenna, about last night." I started, then trailed off, unsure how to approach it. I didn't want to accuse her of anything outright, but the anxiety in my gut was building up, and I knew if I didn't ask, it would eat me alive. She froze, her hand still gripping the coffee mug, but she didn't look at me. She stared down at the counter like the coffee was suddenly the most interesting thing in the world. "What about last night?" The way Rachel said, "Well, she said I was the best." But I clear my throat. "I don't know. There was something about it. You seemed kind of off." Her shoulders tensed, but she didn't answer right away. Instead, she sipped her coffee, avoiding my gaze. I could feel the knot tightening in my chest. Was she lying? Or was I just reading into things too much? "You're overthinking it," she said quietly, her voice more defensive than I expected. Rachel was just being nice. "You're always so hard on yourself." I took a step closer, my voice more insistent now. "Jenna, it's not about that." I paused, trying to find the right words. "It's just, I don't know, I felt like there was something there. And last night, when I asked if you were okay, you seemed distant." She set her coffee mug down with a soft clink, her expression softening a little. "I'm just stressed, okay?" Her voice cracked a little as she spoke. I could hear the exhaustion in her tone. "I've been dealing with a lot, and sometimes I don't know how to deal with it all, and I shut down. I don't mean to be distant. I'm sorry." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to reach out, pull her into my arms, and tell her everything would be fine. But there was something in the way she said it, something that didn't quite ring true. I didn't know if it was just me being paranoid or if I was picking up on something deeper, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more she wasn't telling me. I opened my mouth to say something, but then I stopped myself. What was I even supposed to say? "I think you're hiding something from me?" How do you approach something like that without sounding insane? "I don't mean to make you feel like I'm accusing you of anything," I said, the word coming out like I was walking on eggshells. I don't know. I don't want to feel like we're drifting apart." Jenna's eyes softened, and she walked over to me, reaching for my hand. "We're not drifting apart. I swear. I've just been a little off lately. But it's not you. It's me, okay? I'm just tired, and I've been thinking a lot." She gave me a tight smile. "But I love you. Nothing's changed." Her words should have comforted me, but they didn't. They didn't make me feel better. Instead, I felt a sinking sensation in my stomach, like the ground was slowly eroding beneath me. There was something about the way she said it that didn't sound convincing. It felt rehearsed. Is this what they always say when they're hiding something? I nodded, trying to keep my emotions in check. "Okay," I said, even though I wasn't sure what I believed anymore. "Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page, that's all." She squeezed my hand, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't being entirely honest. Something was off, and I wasn't sure if I was just being paranoid, but the doubt was eating away at me. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Jenna was still a little distant, and I couldn't stop thinking about that damn smirk Rachel had given me the night before. Was it just a fluke? Or was there something else going on that I wasn't seeing? I tried to focus on work, but every time I glanced at my phone, I found myself staring at Jenna's text messages, rereading every word, trying to find something that would make sense of this growing knot in my chest. But nothing did. Nothing felt like it added up. And then, just as I was about to drown in my thoughts, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Rachel. Rachel, hey, I know you're probably still processing last night, but I need to talk to you. Can you meet me? It's important. What the hell? I stared at the message, my heart pounding in my chest. My first instinct was to ignore it, to just pretend I hadn't seen it. But then something inside me snapped. Maybe Rachel knew something. Maybe she had the answers I was looking for. So, I texted back. Me, what's going on, Rachel? What do you need to tell me? Her response was quick but vague. Rachel, I think we need to talk in person. It's better that way. Can you meet me tonight? I didn't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this.